All right, so Australia, huh? They're really going for it this time.
Yeah, they're not messing around, are they? Banning social media for kids under 16?
It's a pretty huge move. I mean, the
Oh,
first country to do something this big. Bold.
definitely bold. A lot of people are watching to see how this plays
Now
out.
we're going to deep dive into it today.
Absolutely.
See what we can learn from it.
Oh, there you go.
So we've got a bunch of articles, research, all about this ban, the challenges, all that.
Trying to get to the bottom of it.
Exactly. What's the goal here? Is it actually going to work? What are the problems? All those good questions.
Yeah, so many questions swirling around this. It's a big experiment they're undertaking.
Okay, so first things first. What exactly does this law say?
Well, basically starting next year, no social media for anyone under 16. Straight up ban.
Well,
Just like that.
pretty much. And they're
Wow.
serious about enforcement, too. Companies that don't comply. Massive fines.
Okay, hold on. How massive are we talking?
Up to $32 million.
Whoa, 32 million. They are messing around. Not at all. That's a pretty strong message they're sending.
Yeah, that gets your attention.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's be real for a second. How do you even enforce something like this?
Right. That's the million-dollar question, or should I say the $32 million question.
Right, it's the internet, it's age verification.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
Yeah, you're hitting on the biggest headache with all of this. Age verification online has always been tricky.
Right, because it's so easy to just lie about your age.
Yeah.
I mean, we all did it back in the day, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the law itself is kind of vague on the specifics of enforcement.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of debate right now about how effective this can actually be.
I bet.
I mean, will it actually stop determined teenagers?
Right, they'll find a way.
Probably. So some people are calling this more of a symbolic move, like they're sending a message.
More than actually, like, being able to control everything.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, we're taking this seriously.
Which, okay, I get that part, but it does remind me of, every generation has that new technology is going to ruin the kids thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I remember when video games were the big bad wolf.
Oh, yeah, totally. My parents thought I was going to, like, turn into a zombie from playing too much.
Exactly. It's like this fear of the unknown, and the urge to protect kids is always there.
Totally. But I guess what makes social media different is it's not just passive, like watching TV.
You're right. It's way more immersive and in your face,
Yeah.
2 and 27. And that always on aspect, that's where a lot of the concern comes in.
Makes sense. It's like constant social pressure, potential for bullying. It's a lot for anyone to handle, let alone teenagers.
Especially teenagers, they're already dealing with so much at that age.
So true.
And one of the big dangers highlighted in the research is the impact on mental health.
Oh, yeah. All that pressure to present a perfect image online, it's got to be tough.
It can really warp your sense of self, especially when you're still figuring out who you are. And then there's cyberbullying, which is just relentless online. It can feel inescapable.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. So, okay, what's the solution here? Is this ban really the answer?
Well, it's a big experiment, right? It's never been done before, so we'll have to see. But honestly, this really emphasizes the role of parents.
Right, like they're on the front lines here.
Exactly. More than ever, parents need to be talking to their kids about online risks.
So open communication is key.
Huge. Like, not just setting rules, but actually teaching them how to think critically about what they see online.
Media literacy. Right.
Exactly. Because banning something doesn't always stop kids from finding ways to access it.
Right, it's like the forbidden fruit almost makes it more appealing.
Exactly. So it's more about equipping them with the tools to navigate this whole world safely.
Okay, so parents have a big role. But are there, like, any tools that can actually help them with this?
Oh, absolutely. There's stuff out there. Like, there are those AI monitoring systems.
Those sound kind of intense.
They can be, but they can also be helpful. Like, there's this one called Bark, and it scans for potentially harmful content.
So, like, if your kid's being cyberbullied or they're looking at something inappropriate, you'd get an alert.
Exactly. It can give you a heads up and help you start those important conversations. And then, of course, there are the basic things like setting screen time limits.
Oh, yeah, good old-fashioned screen time limits.
Always a good idea. And then there are parental control features built into lots of devices and apps. So it's about using a combination of tools and good communication.
It's like a multi-pronged approach.
Exactly.
So zooming out a bit, it seems like this ban in Australia, it's really sparking a global conversation.
Oh, for sure. It's got everyone talking and thinking about the future of kids online.
Yeah, like where's the line? How do we balance protection with freedom to explore? Tough questions.
Really tough. And there's no easy answer. But What Australia is doing, it's an interesting experiment.
It is.
I think it'll be really valuable to see how it all unfolds, what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, what are the unintended consequences?
Exactly, because the goal is noble, right?
Of course, protecting kids is always a good thing.
But figuring out the best way to do that, that's the challenge.
Yeah, and it's a challenge that all of us are going to have to grapple with as technology keeps evolving.
Absolutely. It's not going away anytime soon.
So as we wrap up here, what's your final takeaway from all of this?
I think it boils down to this. We need to be actively shaping the digital world we want for our kids.
Not just reacting to whatever comes along.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, having those tough conversations, and figuring out what works best for each family.
Great point. So for everyone listening out there, what do you think? How would you approach this whole thing?
Yeah, let's keep the conversation going, because this is a challenge we all face together.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, Australia's experiment will help us all find some answers along the way. It's a deep dive worth taking, that's for sure.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See you then.